All right, so we're going to just do a little bit of A6 today, and that's because you are familiar with what we're talking about today. Do you guys remember when we used Pascal's triangle? Yeah, binomials. And we did what with them?
Factors.
No, it was the
Expanding.
reverse. Expanding, okay? So 8.6, this is still about binomials. This is called binomial distribution.
I hated it.
Okay, and then you guys just filled in the triangle. So there's, as we talk about the patterns, I'm going to fill in the triangle with you certain ways. So I told you guys a little hint that this was row 0, this was row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4, row 5. Okay, as I was listening to some of your conversations, some of you were saying, oh, I noticed that the outside here, this first diagonal, the first diagonal consists of what? All ones. So the first diagonal is all ones. Is there something we noticed about the second one?
It denotes the row minus row 0.
The second diagonal, yes, it does two things. So the second diagonal, we'll talk about the entry in a second, and then it also does what? Okay, so the second diagonal increases by 1. And then you guys also told me the row number is the same as the second entry in the row.
It's also a triangle.
Okay, and then so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this would be 6, 7, 8. Yeah, do you know the third diagonal? Or something else?
Oh, I was going to say.
Yeah, go ahead.
The odd rows, or the rows with the numbers have two adjacent numbers to each other, like 10 and 10.
Yes. Okay, so if there's, you said an odd number row, right?
Odd number rows where the numbers.
Okay, so an odd number row contains, do you say two of the same number next to each other? How did you word that?
Two adjacent numbers, like 8, 3, 10, 10, 25.
Two identical adjacent numbers. I like that, adjacent. Okay, what do you guys notice about the third diagonal?
It's increasing by the row.
Yeah, but yeah, that's a good way to say it. It's increasing by the row number. But this is a diagonal. So you're saying from row 2 to row 3, it would increase by this. And what's another way we could say it?
Increase by exponential.
Increases by 2, then 3, 4, 5, etc. What about the, I thought there was one more. What about the row number and the number of entries?
There's one more.
Yes. So the row number plus 1 equals the number of entries in the row. Okay, so plus 2, plus 3, plus 4, so this would be plus 5, plus 6, plus 7. And they're the same on either side, right? So this would be the ones here. Then we have 6, 7, 8, 15, 21, 28. Is there anything else that you guys said about them?
It's a triangle.
We did watch that. I wasn't sure if any of you said anything about them being symmetric. Right? On both sides. Alright, so we're going to skip this part. This is what we're going to get in tomorrow. Alright, guys, stay with me. We're just doing one more thing today. Okay? We're going to use this binomial theorem.
Dude, did we not already do this? My bad, I'm not complaining.
There's a different application. So I'm reminding you how we're doing this. Okay, and then tomorrow we are going to relate that to probability. So the first thing we're going to do is when you're expanding the binomial is you have to notice the exponent. So if the exponent is 5, that means you go to row 5, and what do we use?
The numbers there.
The entries, yeah, so those numbers. So in row 5, if I look at row 5, I have 1, 5, 10, 10, 5, 1. So I'm going to line those up. So 1, 5, 10, 10, 5, 1. Alright, now the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to look at the first term. Sometimes it's just an A, sometimes there's a number in front of it, sometimes there's a negative in front of it, so you do have to be careful about that. But for this one, the A is going to start to the power of 5, so this is going to be A to the 5th, and it is going to decrease. So it's A to the 5th, A to the 4th, A to the 3rd, A squared, A to the 1st, and then A to the 0. As we keep doing this, I'm going to stop putting the first, because that's just going to be the same thing. And instead of A to the 0, what could I write? 1. Yep, so I'm going to start doing that in the next one. Now the B value starts at 0 and then works its way up. Okay, so this is going to be B to the 0, then B to the 1st, B to the 2nd, B to the 3rd, B to the 4th, B to the 5th. And then the last thing you do you guys want to tell me? Multiply down. Okay, so we're going to multiply straight down. Okay, so you do this in columns. That's why when you're setting this up, I do recommend giving yourself some space between. Okay, so you can keep them in the same column. So remember, this is a 1. Okay, so 1 times A to the 5th times 1 is just A to the 5th. And then it's going to be plus if this is positive, minus if this is negative. So this is going to be 5 A to the 4th B. This one would be 10 A to the 3rd B squared plus 10 A to the 2nd B cubed plus 5A B to the 4th. And again, remember this is 1, so this is plus B to the 5th. Okay, so we're gonna, I'm gonna have you do part B, and then that's the last one that we're gonna do today. Okay, and I'm gonna kind of have you take the lead on that. We're just gonna do the start together. Sorry, excuse me. Okay, so this is going to be row what? What coefficients? Row 3. Okay, so will you guys line those up there? 1, 3, 3, 1. Now, this one's a little bit different, so I'm going to start the second row for you. See how it's 2x? When you're simplifying this, it's 2x to the 3rd. So remember, that's 2x times 2x times 2x. So that's going to affect that a little bit. This is 2x to the 2nd. This is just going to be 2x to the 1st, and then 2x to the 0 is 1.
So you'll keep
Yes. So this is just y, so we're going to start that at y to the 0, which is 1. Okay, so I want you to complete that and then check in with your row and make sure you guys all have the same answer. Again, pay attention to those exponents, okay?